Hi, welcome back to Family and Fit, where we talk fitness and how to integrate it in your busy lifestyle. So today we'll be talking about taking in food, when should you cut back on taking in food, and when you should go ahead and eat a few extra calories. Now, right now we're through the bulking phase, so essentially we're wanting to be in a calorie surplus over the majority of the time. But there are instances where you may want to cut back and you may not want to actually be in a caloric surplus, and being that this channel is really targeted around people who are just average 9-to-5ers, just your general average American. A majority of people here in America, that's what we do. We do our 9-to-5 job. What I've been doing with this lean bulk that I'm on now is I'm doing intuitive eating, where essentially I'm not tracking anything. I'm just kind of judging my lifts and judging the amount of food that I eat. I'd have a good rule of thumb just because I came off a cut just recently, so I kind of know what calories I can take in, and also I eat the same repetitive meals over and over again, and I also try to keep my proteins really high. So what I want to go over today is eating to muscle soreness and overall just consuming calories based on how your schedule is going. And to me, this is one of the best tips, because what's the point of bulking and eating all these extra calories if you don't even have any muscle breakdown to be repairing? That's the whole point of consuming calories and being in a caloric surplus during a bulk, is to repair the muscle that you broke down and to give your muscles sufficient energy to be able to rebuild themselves. So if you want to kind of do how like I'm doing and do this thing a little bit more intuitively, this is definitely one of the biggest tips that's going to help with the longevity of your bulk and coming out of your bulk and not just being super overweight. And this works really well for a cut if you're cutting down and you're trying to lose a little bit of weight, but you're also trying to gain a little bit of muscle at the same time. This is the perfect type of eating for like a recomposition, and that's just because you're going to eat based off of how your days go. So a lot of people may think that they need to consume a lot of calories before they go to the gym, when that may be the furthest from the truth. That might be the time where you actually want to cut down on the most amount of calories, just for the sole fact that let's put it for an example's sake. You ain't been to the gym for about 3 days. Things came up, you just had all these things coming at you in life and you just couldn't make it to the gym for 3 days. It is what it is. Those 3 days you should be tapering off from eating into a surplus. So that first day that you came home from the gym, you should have went ahead and ate solid. The next day you should have ate pretty solid, and then the next day as well. Now what I would do is, if you're in a 250 calorie surplus for the day, that first day I'd eat 250 calories, the next day I'd eat 200, and then the next day maybe 100. And then if you go another day without even working out, and say for instance you're going to work out later in the evening, don't go into a surplus until you've actually worked out, because prior to working out your muscles are not broken down, therefore they do not need to recover. And that's kind of where the whole theory is behind this video right here, is because what's the point of trying to consume extra calories that are essentially just going to turn to fat anyway? You're not going to really get any muscular growth, and studies are showing that after 48 hours you have very minuscule muscle growth. So 48 hours after a workout, I would say just stay away from a caloric surplus. It's just going to make you gain extra fat that you don't want on your body. 99% of people that are doing fitness, it's not necessarily just to get strong, it's to look good too. A lot of people just want to lose a couple extra pounds and recomp their body and just look good, So then that comes back to, okay, if you did just work out, make sure that you are eating in a surplus. There's times, if I do an evening session, I may come home and consume 1,000 calories immediately after my workout session, but that's okay, because maybe prior that day I only consumed 1,500, 1,200 calories or something like that. So basically, the closer and closer I get to my next workout window, I actually cut my calories down a little bit more. I might go a little bit higher in carbs just so I have a little bit more energy at the gym, but overall you're gonna have blood glycogen there. You're not gonna have to really worry about being depleted, especially in a bulk. Now if you're in a cut, that's a completely different story. You'll get depleted whether you're eating or not, especially if it's a deep cut. Going back to the thing of eating to muscle soreness. Now you can kind of time these eating windows out based off of when the last time you worked out was, and when your next workout's going to be. But another telltale sign is how sore do you feel, or also telling how much volume you got in that day. But a lot of novice people, or people just don't have a lot of experience with lifting, they may not know how much volume they got in, or how intense their session was, and those are kind of a variable that are a little bit hard to measure, especially for somebody that don't know how to do some of the math, or just overall have the experience of what to compare what high volume is and what's not. what we can go ahead and do is we can compare it to muscle soreness. Now, even though muscle soreness is not directly related to muscle tear down, it is a good indicator. It is something that's solid, because if you're not sore, it's not saying that you're not going to make any gains, and if you're super sore, doesn't mean you're going to make maximum gains. But it is a good indicator of how much work you put in. You wouldn't be sore if you didn't at least put in quite a bit of work, and that's just kind of how it works. Prime example for myself right now, I had a super intense session a couple days ago. It was an upper session, and basically I did chest and back that day. And even though my chest and triceps, they feel fine, my back feels fine, my biceps just feel overall just drained, wore out. I got some fatigue in my biceps, so I've been eating a little bit heavier the past couple days, just because I still have that fatigue in my biceps. And also the day after doing my upper, I did a lower day, so I also have a lot of extra calories going into that as well. So one of my main things that I really try to do is I try to make sure that I'm just working out almost every day. So I'll do like my upper, my lower, and then I'll go upper, lower again, depending on what the volume is of those 2 sessions. But being that my biceps are still sore from that upper, I essentially took a break. And what I'll do in that break day is I'll do some upper movements, but I'll just do like some isolated movements, like doing some shoulders. I'll do mainly exercises that I feel like my muscles haven't been targeted or tore down for a while. To bring it back to this video, the whole purpose of that is just so that you constantly have muscle tore down. You want to have muscle tore down in your body all the time, so that way if you are in a caloric surplus, those extra calories aren't going to fat. You want your body to be working all the time to put that food into muscle. Now, you will have to take some breaks here and there, but that's for another video. It's so important that you're keeping your muscles broke down all the time, and you can continue to keep eating, because if you really do have to cut back on your eating, that means you're probably not making it to the gym that much. But don't let that get you down, and also don't just keep eating but just when you're not going to the gym. The first time that I went really hard into fitness and really started working out, I worked out for 3 or 4 months, and I started bulking. I'm bulking. I didn't know near as what I know now, and I just was cramming food in my mouth. I wasn't really paying attention to much protein stuff. I mean, I would try to get my protein levels up. Like, other than that, I just crammed food in my mouth. I didn't calorie count, nothing. And I started gaining weight fast, and then I kind of fell off of fitness, and I kept eating like I was bulking, and I just blew up. It just got bad. It was horrible. That's how I got to my heaviest I've ever been, and most fat that I've ever been, just because I went from being in a bulk to not working out, and then I just kept eating like I was bulking. Whenever that was a stupid method of going about it, and even in a bulk, that's just stupid, because if you just continue to cram food in your mouth and you don't have your muscles tore down, like I said, it's just going right to fat. So take advantage of that. That's how you get the lean bulk, how you really improve your body composition. It's just overall, it's just to make sure that you're not consuming extra calories that you don't need and that your body doesn't need during periods of time, so that it don't need it. So the simple of this whole video is, don't eat a lot if you haven't worked out for a few days. I mean, completely go back to maintenance calories. Maybe even go into a cut. I wouldn't want you to do that, because then there may be potential progress losses in the gym as far as amount of reps that you can lift or amount of weight that you can lift. But if you know it's not going to be like a week or two before you can get to the gym, you're gonna lose some progress there anyway. So you might as well taper back, take it to a bare minimum of a maintenance, and maybe even go into a slight mini cut. And I kind of like to take these things on a day-by-day basis, because if you go into a cut for one day, it's not going to run your gains, it's not going to deplete your muscles, and to be honest, I feel like that's the best way to have the best body composition possible. That's like the definition of a lean bulk, is somebody who can manage their calories in a way that it goes along with their lifting. So many people just say, I'm in a bulk, and they eat 250 calories every day, day in and day out. And other people might say, oh, if it's your off day, don't eat as many calories. Well, I disagree with that, because if it's your off day, it's likely that yesterday you worked out and you got a pretty good muscle tear down. So you're going to want to fuel those muscles for recovery. That's the main time you want to eat. Like I said, if you're going to cut times on eating, it needs to be right before a workout session, whenever you're the furthest away from your last workout session. So that's the best time to cut your calories down. I'll do almost stuff like where it's like I'm intermittent fasting, and I know I'm going to do an evening session, and that's just because I'm trying to save those calories for right after I hit my lift, and then I can just cram as much food in my mouth, and my body just has all the nutrition and all the protein that it needs to throw all that at your muscles. And then while you're sleeping, You know, you don't have to worry about your body using up all your nutrients while you're sleeping. If any of y'all have ever done plasma, like given plasma, then you probably already know, like when you wake up in the mornings, your protein levels are way high. You can ask them what your protein levels are, and they'll tell you. And there's been times where, like, you know, I utilize that to like focus on getting my protein levels so high that you know, I basically got rejected. They sent me home for the day. I haven't done this for a long time, but it's something I did way back in the past. But in the mornings, you're just super depleted. Like your protein levels are so low. Like they'll tell you have to eat something before you even come in here. And so if you're saving all your calories for the very end of the day after you hit your workout session, then you're gonna have all those abundant amount of calories while you're sleeping. You're gonna wake up and not be at a zero protein level. You'll still have protein in your blood to support that constant growth, because when it comes to protein and nutrients in your body, it's better to have a more consistent flow of protein and of nutrients versus having one lot sum and having a big spike of protein, and then throughout the rest of the day you're low, like way lower than what you should be. It's nice to keep your body, you know, at like 20 grams of protein per hour or something like that. And that's just a, you know, kind of a rule of thumb. That might be a little bit high for your total daily intake, but you know, if you did like 20 grams of protein every 2 hours, something along those lines, that would be, you know, the most optimal. And it also depends on your protein source, like how fast that protein is going to break down. Protein powders generally break down way faster than protein food sources. For another scenario, we're going to say that you're going to work out in the mornings. So what do you do in those cases? Well, I would suggest if you are going to work out in the mornings, then what'll change is don't eat before you go to the gym if you can. Now, if you feel sick to your stomach and all that, you know, go ahead and eat you something. But I would keep it kind of light. And if you're going to eat something, I'd keep it super high in protein. That way your protein levels are already boosted up while you're at the gym. And essentially you're in recovery mode before you even leave the gym. So the way that I would map this out for somebody who's going to work out in the morning is same thing. Same concept. Eat less and less the further and further away you get from your last workout session. So instead of working out in the evening and crashing a big meal whenever you get home from work, when you get home from the gym, what I'd like for you to do is not eat before you go to bed. Keep your meals as far away from your bedtime, and eat as early in the evening as possible, so that way throughout that evening you're not consuming a bunch of extra calories you don't need. And also you're not having a bunch of extra calories while you're sleeping and just storing all that extra as fat. And sleep is a perfect time for your body to transition to storing things to fat. It's going into hibernation mode for the night. So the next day, whenever you go to the gym, maybe you eat your protein bar before, maybe you don't. But whenever you come home from that gym, that's when I'd crash my biggest meal right then and there. You know, I'd probably crash 1,000 calories right off the bat and have my proteins boosted up around 60 grams or so. But you know, these tips here are for people who have missed days in the gym. It's not like, I don't want you to really do this on a daily basis and take it that extreme. Like, do this stuff if you've missed 2 days. If you've hit that 48-hour window, that's when you really should start reducing. You know, the further and further away you get from your workout session, yes, reduce. But really, just don't worry about that. If you're at a 200-calorie bulk, you know, you don't have to worry about that. But if you want to go more optimally, you would cut it down as time goes along. The main thing to take away is that after you've hit that 48-hour window, that's when you really need to cut it back and go back to a maintenance calories. If you haven't worked out in 48 hours, cut it back to a maintenance calories. Overall, optimally, I'd like to see you guys hitting session after session, and you don't have to worry about being 48 hours away from a workout. But I know how it is. Life is life. You know, I do fitness. This is, you know, one of the things that is an integral part of my life. Yet I still miss days. It's very easy whenever you have kids and you have a 9-to-5 job, and your 9-to-5 job doesn't have a consistent schedule, and some days you're working 20 hours, some days you're working 2 hours. You know, it kind of messes with your schedule. So I know all about it. Trust me, guys. That's why we do this thing on this channel here. It's just to connect with those people working that 9-to-5 job and to try to help them get through the fitness struggles and the schedule and everything, and just kind of keep them motivated to do this stuff. So guys, if y'all like this type of content, make sure to hit that cellular button. We're going to be doing more 9-to-5er type of stuff, so that way we can just help the 9-to-5. That's the reason why we created this channel. I've been working on just getting some content out there, so that way I have other stuff for people to watch and maybe more searchable content. But I just really want to target down on people who work a 9-to-5 job and how to get around things. So if you have any questions or comments, make sure to put them down below. I check out Facebook groups and stuff like that, and I see you guys' questions. And I use a lot of that stuff to base these videos and to get good ideas and see what everybody's wanting and what they're needing out of out of some video content. Thank you guys for watching. If y'all stuck around to the end, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.